Hey everyone, this time on Tim Talks Audio, we're back with Baby Audio and their first synthesizer. This is the BA-1. We've worked with Baby Audio a bunch of times, and they have sent over the BA-1, their first synthesizer. And we get to check it out today. There's a lot going on, but it's really inspiring. I actually wrote two different things going on. One is very 80s style. You'll hear that in a moment. And there's something else kind of drony and long. Everything you're going to hear in today's video is created by the BA-1, except for the drums, which I'm just using a PreSonus stock impact kit, and some of the melody lines. I actually just recorded my voice and then brought them in to the BA-1 to make our melodies. So without further ado, let's dive into the DAW. Okay, so here we go. This is the BA-1 from Baby Audio. You know what? Gray's not doing it for me. Maybe blue is what you want, or maybe purple. But you know what? I'm an orange kind of guy. You guys probably know this by now. Let's go with orange. As you can see, there are a ton of controls on this. And if you don't want to go over the controls, you've used synthesizers before, you just want to get to the sounds, use the chapters down below to skip ahead. But for those wanting to go over a lot of the controls, and we're not going to dive into all of them, let's move on from here. Okay, so like we said, this is its default state. This is a brand new instance, and you can see a lot going on. This first section here is our oscillators. It's what is generating the sounds within the BA-1. You have two of them, oscillator 1 and 2, and you can blend between either one of them with the crossfader in the middle here. You can lean heavier towards one oscillator or the other. And then, of course, to the left is the gliss control, but this is actually glissando. This is how it drifts between those notes. And you can adjust this here. Maybe I have the definition of glissando wrong. I'm probably even saying it wrong. That's okay. Next to the oscillators, you have the FM. You can reduce frequency modulation or increase. We're just going to put this back to the defaults, though. Next to that, you have your filter section, cutoff, resonance, and envelope. And if you wanted to stay in key, you could do that with this little toggle here as well. Next to that, you have the actual envelope. So first was filter, now you have envelope. So attack, decay, sustain, release, and you can have these things locked in sync with your beats per minute within your session. Then we move down to the bottom, and yes, there is a speaker built into this. So you can get more of that lo-fi telephony kind of sound by engaging the BA-1 speaker. This is pretty cool. Then next to that, you have the LFO, and currently it is synced, and you can take that off just by clicking on sync. But it tells you in the top left all of the controls you're doing and what kind of changes you are making. So right now I have a 30-second note, or I can have a full bar for my LFO. Amount next to that with the target being either oscillator 1 or the filter. Next to that, you have the side chain section, and here you can change where you're getting your signal from, pre or post. And if you're actually doing any side chaining amount, this creates some of that pumping effect. Then you have a very 80s inspired effect section here. You have a tone, so you can make it darker or brighter, so it's an EQ kind of built in. You have drive, so some saturation in here. And with a toggle switch, you can either have it set to circuit or OD. OD is overdrive, circuit is as if you're driving the circuit too hard, and obviously your amount. Then you have a delay next to that you can have synced to your session, and some reverb. You also have a toggle chorus switch here. Then we get into something that's actually really cool. We have the battery section here. With the old 80s style synthesizers, a lot of them you could throw batteries into and take it on the road with you to create whatever you wanted to write wherever you were. But over time, those batteries degraded and warped the sound. You can do the same thing in the BA-1 with the battery section here, giving us all kinds of detuned kinds of sounds, some drifts in and out of pitch. It's really cool. If you're going for a lo-fi kind of thing, battery in conjunction with the speaker, really cool. And then last, but certainly not least, is your output section. Obviously, your overall output and your volume. That's this big knob here. But then you also have a randomize regen button. This is really fun. And I'm just seeing now we can also make this bigger. So here is our regen button where we'll randomize everything. But before we do that, let's now get into our audio examples. I have a little MIDI keyboard plugged in right here. I apologize in advance for the bad playing you're about to hear because this thing is broken and only a couple keys work. So default sounds sound like this. But if we go in and hit the regen button, so you can hear with the regen button, you're changing every parameter, and you can just spark inspiration this way, or just change what you need to by going in and adjusting any of the parameters after you use the regen button. One last thing before we get into the audio examples. Up on the top right, you have the reset button, which puts us back to factory default. Next to that, you have the polyphonic or monophonic button here, 1 dot, monophonic, multi-dot, polyphonic, right? Many, poly, cool. Next to that, you have the velocity on. This allows you to use your MIDI keyboard or whatever your input is. If it has different velocities or can take that kind of information from your MIDI controller, you can turn that on or have it off, and it's just go. And then last but not least, next to that is the MIDI CC, and you get another little submenu here, MIDI control change off, default custom, or MIDI learn off or on. If you need to do these, you hit the little button right here. Right up in top is your preset browser, and lots of presets in here, a lot from the factory itself, and then some artist presets as well, including fellow YouTuber Venus Theory. Go check his channel out. Now let's get into those audio examples. Like we said earlier in the video, every sound you're about to hear, aside from the drums, the bass in one song, and the melodies, were all generated from the BA-1. I pulled in some chords, added some arpeggios, threw a bunch of different things in to showcase what the BA-1 actually can do. It led me to create 2 different songs, one very 80s sounding and inspired, and another one kind of long, droney, kind of ethereal-ish kind of sound. And now let's take a listen. So there it is. That is the Baby Audio BA-1, which is available right now. If you want to pick up your copy, use the link down in the description. Act fast though, the intro price is $49 US, and it's just gonna go up from there. So make sure to jump on this and get the BA-1. That's all for now. If you found anything informative, please like and share the video. Want to talk synths, plugins, or anything else? Join the Discord. There's a link down below. Want to work together on your next project? I want to work with you. Let's get that started at timplansbaum.com. And if you have a question, ask it in the comments and I'll answer it in a future video. Thanks for watching.